So welcoming everyone to our third Heart2Heart, and thanking all of you and your beautiful heart presence for making this, joining this communion, this community so special. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All our hearts together, shining even more radiantly. And we're very blessed again to have beautiful Nischala Devi with us. If you don't know, some of you probably don't know, so she was my heart teacher a long time ago in the 1980s when we were both 12. And she's also the author of this book, Secret Power of Yoga, which is a woman's guide to the heart and spirit of the Yoga Sutras. She's also the author of Namaste Effect and many things. Heart yoga, which is her own. Is it called heart yoga or yoga of the heart?
Yoga of the heart.
Yoga of the heart. Yeah. You can do training courses with her.
And a podcast. Yeah.
And a podcast. She's got a podcast where she's also talking about a more feminine perspective of the Bhagavad Gita is the current one. Very interesting point of view. Particularly I find it interesting as when we go to yoga classes or any yoga event or possibly even any spiritual event, the percentage of females in the room is extremely high and the percentage of males is very low. And strangely enough, all the books, not all of them, many of them are by him, and they refer to he and him and Lord, and it's a little bit confusing perhaps for women. So we're here to smooth things a bit. So welcome, Nischala. Thank you for joining us from your sunny morning in California. We can see the sun coming through.
Warm and sunny, thank you.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah,
we're lucky. Yeah, we're lucky.
And we've also got wonderful, beautiful Annie Malone with us, our heart music ambassador. We're very honored and blessed to have you with us, Annie. Thank you. Yeah. So here we are, all together at Easter time. A very particular time in our history of our species and our planet, and a very poignant spiritual celebration of Easter, of Passover, and Ramadan, and Easter, the pagan festival. So this is a really potent moment, perhaps, in the cycle of our planet. And we might be feeling that, all of us. So I'm going to invite us all to begin to settle into our body, to let the body settle in the chair or the floor, wherever it's sitting, to invite the body to find its comfortable place. See if anything wants to move. The head is always very grateful for being invited to move. Very often we hold it rigid, and once we release that mental rigidity and let the neck soften and flow, the head finds its natural resting place on top of the spine. And the spine aligns itself. You might find you're taking a deeper breath than normal, and that your eyelids gently fold over the eyes like rose petals, softly closing the eyes. And your awareness begins to draw within, just naturally by itself. If you like to, you can bring a gentle touch to the heart center, right in the center of the chest. And take a sweet breath in and a gentle sigh out through the letting go of the day, letting go of any holding or hardness that might be in the body or in the breath or in the mind and emotions. Taking another breath in and sighing it all away. And let's have one more. And this time we'll put at the end. Let's breathe in. Sighing away. And perhaps a little smile floats to the corners of the mouth. And you might notice the heart center feels like a smile too. Letting all our awareness settle in the heart center and rest here. As we rest in the heart, Vidani is going to share some music she was gifted with this morning at this time. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Peace. Peace. Finding that we are peace. Finding that we are peace itself. Resting here. Perhaps letting the face turn a little towards the heart. Smiling to the heart. Feeling the heart smiling back. In this moment of union, consciousness uniting in the heart, resting in its own true nature. And if it feels right for you, letting the eyes gently begin to open. Perhaps looking at what's in front of you with new eyes, with more light, with a sense of wonder. And gently letting the head begin to float back up. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much. Beyond words, thank you. Yeah. Annie will sing with us again later on. We're very lucky. Yeah. So today, Nischala and I have, we thought we would talk about the 4 locks and keys because we were asked to actually. And we thought, yeah, that could be really helpful just now for all of us. So these are, if you're keen on the sutras, it's book 1, Sutra 33, but you don't need to know that. It's pretty famous as the 4 locks and keys. And it gives us a kind of framework for navigating interpersonal relationships, and helps us to maintain our inner peace that we are resting in at the moment and our equanimity. And so I'm going to invite Nischala to talk to us about this, using her very own translation of the Yoga Sutras. So handing over to you, Nischala. Thank you.
Thank you, Padma. Thank you, everyone. It's a little difficult to speak after that amazing music because it takes us to a place where there's no words, which I don't know about the rest of you, but I love going there. There's so many words that we use so many times during the day. It's just so nice to go to a place you can't even describe. That's how far beyond words it is. And I think we need to go there regularly to remember there is a place like that. Otherwise, we start to think this is it. This is only it. I think one of the extraordinary things about the Yoga Sutras, and these group of sutras are no different. The Yoga Sutras presuppose that we are already at a high state of consciousness. I think this is very different from a lot of other books that we have, spiritual books, because they're talking to us almost at a basic level. And some of you may have listened to A Woman's Gita, the podcast, and you'll see that the Bhagavad Gita is pretty much like that. It starts from baseline. It assumes you know nothing. The Yoga Sutras don't. They assume that you've already been perhaps years even in spiritual practice. So in this particular group of sutras, it's so interesting because we're talking about here the potential for imbalances. So there's a supposition that you are already balanced. And here are things that are coming in during the day, during your life, that are making you imbalanced. And they're saying to you, if you follow these ways, this is how you can get back into balance. And so before we get to 33, I'd like to start on 130, because I think it's very, it gives us an idea why 133 is there. And I think this is important to really get a context for it and to see, why do we practice these things? Why is this sutra so important? And here it says 130. Those of you that have books, you can follow along. It's on page 85. And it says, perception of our true nature is often obscured by physical, mental, and emotional imbalances. Now, you can pick one of the three, or you can roll them all into one, because very often it will happen. If you get a physical imbalance, it will affect the mind and emotions. Vice versa. You get an emotional imbalance, and then you say, my stomach hurts, I got a headache from it. Something happens. So we don't see who we really are because of these imbalances. And we start to think that we're our headache or we're our disease or whatever else it is. So this is very powerful when it says that. Perception of our true nature is often obscured by physical, mental, and emotional imbalances. 131 then says, these imbalances can promote, and now we go into the downward spiral, restlessness, uneven breathing. So your breathing changes. That's sometimes one way we can tell right away if we are upset. Or even if we're looking at a small child, we can tell by their breathing pattern has changed because they're upset. They're more talking like this because this is mimicking the mind. Uneven breathing, worry, and this is the saddest one, loss of hope. We start losing hope. Once you lose hope, there's not much you can hold on to. 132, the good news, right? The good news. These imbalances can be prevented from engaging by developing loyalty to a sacred practice. So I'm sure some of you have this already, but having a sacred practice is very, very important, and using it all the time. What it does, it gives us the ability to understand that there's more than just the mind. There's more than just the mind. Sorry. If we think we're only the mind and body and something goes wrong with it, what happens? We start this downward spiral into disease, into worry, into breathing, into loss of hope. And then what's left? Nothing. And in then comes this sutra that we're going to spend the most time on this morning, 133. Now, this one is called the locks, 4 locks and the 4 keys. Why? So sometimes people actually make up little locks and they make up little keys with the names on them. So you have the right key for the right lock. If you can get the right key and the right lock, what happens? You regain your peace of mind and openness of heart. If you get the wrong one, you may be stuck in that place of loss of hope, uneven breathing, etc. So let's look at these. To preserve openness of heart and calmness of mind, nurture these attitudes. The first, kindness. This is something that seems to be slipping away from our societies. People used to be kind. Now they're not quite as kind. Kindness to those that are happy. Kindness to those that are happy. You think that's easy? We'll look at it in a minute. Compassion for those who are less fortunate. You say, oh, I have lots of compassion. We'll see in a minute. Honor for those who embody noble qualities. And then the hardest probably is equanimity to those whose actions oppose your values. Wow, that's a big one. Right, Papa? What do you think?
Yeah, that's the the last one is the big one that we all have struggled with over time, I think, and many
Especially now.
people do.
Especially now. Yeah.
Especially now, and I think let's see if we get to that one in detail today or not. But that's the one that's really helpful, I think, for everything that you've said, particularly for regaining our hope and our equanimity and our sense of a benign, a basically benign universe, which sometimes that gets covered over a little bit, it slips a little bit, I think. It's still there, it's still there. I think we're born with that, but sometimes it slips away.
And the kindness too is there, but what happens to it? Sometimes it gets taken over by fear. We're afraid to be kind. We're afraid that people are going to react a certain way. Sad, sad, because that's the basis of who we are. Even the Dalai Lama, someone said he was Buddhist. He said, no, I'm not Buddhist. My religion is kindness. Now, what happened to it? What happened to it? We think we know. We think that we're judging everybody by our standards instead of by how they live their life. Look at them. What makes them happy? You know?
Yeah, I think that's key here. Key. Another key is understanding that what our beliefs are not, and our thoughts and beliefs are not the truth. They're simply thoughts and concepts that we have, that we feel comfortable with at the moment, but they're shifting all the time as well. The thoughts and concepts about that and values that we had when we were 7 or 17 are different when we're 37, 57, and so on,
and beyond.
77. So that changes. So none of that is permanent, and everyone else is on the same wavy gravy, as we used to say. We're all floating on the wavy gravy, I think. And the four locks and keys, many of the sutras in translation or in commentary, and I've heard it said many times by other teachers, that they're saying that there are four kinds of people in the world. And I just find that ridiculous, because it's not saying that at all. It's saying we could see different states of mind within these four groups. It's not all that there is, but it's helpful. It's helpful.
Isn't it amazing how when there are those of us who find a uplifting and inspiring passage like this, or sutra, or whatever you want to call it, and then some people come in and just try to take it apart. Why not let people have their inspiration? Don't we need that? Everybody encourage people instead of taking it apart. And it also, when you describe that, it's interesting because it was all from the perspective, not you, but of the person talking. It's me, about me looking at people, me again, instead of saying, this is how I perceive things, right? I perceive that people are kind. I perceive that people are compassionate. And therefore, can I perceive that in myself? Can I act with someone like that? So this is not something to put people in categories. This is something to tell us how to react when people are in these situations. So it's very interesting to me that when people turn things to look at the negative aspect instead of the empowerment aspect. I mean, when you can perfect this sutra, you can go anywhere and be with anyone and be loved. It's an amazing sutra, and to reduce it to me is sad. It's sad. So this kindness is very interesting, because you're going to find people right now, and I'm going to stay totally and completely away from politics, because that's not where I am. That's not where I live at this moment. But you'll find people that are happy about something that you don't understand, right? Maybe it's a sports team, maybe it's a television show, maybe it's a planet. We don't know what it is. But the idea is to look at that person, and instead of bringing your mind into it and judging whether what they're happy about is worth it, you're just kind to them. That's all. You're just kind to them. Even if you see someone smoking a big stinky cigar, they're enjoying it. You don't have to go over and tell them about mouth cancer and how that develops, and they couldn't do all that, right? You just say, you're enjoying it. Have a good afternoon, right? So it's for us. It's our attitude, not for them. Why not? If you have the opportunity to be kind, why don't you?
Yeah, and I think we find that life gets a lot easier when we're being like that. And then we find that we don't have to be the judge and the jailer and the executioner and all of that. And if you although our culture tends to train us towards that, thinking that that is intelligent, but when you're judging everybody, you are creating a jail, and the jail is your mind,
That's it.
and you have jailed yourself in there. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing that anyone does. And I do encourage everyone to know that the door's open. Yeah, the door's open. You don't have to stay in there.
What
Yeah,
it does to your own heart, I think that's the other thing. When you express kindness, literally and we've been talking about the difference between the physical, emotional, and spiritual heart. I really believe it affects all of them, and they actually can show that on x-ray and scans, that the shape of the heart changes. We talked about it changing for sadness, but it also changes for joy and friendliness. We know how we feel when we see somebody, and we express that. So I think it's a very powerful one, and something that we can easily practice. We can do that. Some of them are harder, but this is a little bit easier. Not
yeah.
much, but a little bit.
I also like to remember that it's not just about the outer world, these guidelines. It's also about what's going on in us. So we might, for no reason at all, have a great sense of happiness, joy, well-being. We're just beaming and bouncing along. And our mind might say, you shouldn't be feeling like this. Do you
Exactly.
know there's children suffering in the world? Or someone else might say it to you. Or, but mostly it's if you, something in you might say that,
Yep.
that voice. What do you think you're doing?
That voice.
And that is the place where you can apply these locks and keys as well. So not just with someone outside. So you've met someone who's very happy, and the in Sanskrit that's called sukha, happy, and the key that's meant to be a lock, which is interesting. We think it might be the goal of life sometimes. Oh yeah, I'm here to be happy. I've got some news for you.
Oops.
Might not be the case, but if we meet someone who's happy, be friendly towards them. In
Yes.
Sanskrit, it's called maitri.
Right.
Maitri.
Right.
Loving kindness, as Nischala was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, loving kindness, goodwill towards the happy person. And when you're feeling that happiness, that's what do we call it? The joys of spring. You're full of the joys of spring this morning, we say to someone when we might think they're a bit annoying, being too happy. But we could we could reframe that, and we could just be friendly and say, how it's lovely to see your smile today. Thank you. Or I'm feeling happy too. Or just be friendly. Yeah. But for yourself too, if that little voice says, there's suffering in the world, how dare you be happy? You can say, my friend, my friend,
Maitreya.
let's take a moment to be happy here.
Yeah.
I would
Exactly.
say so.
And
Yeah.
then we get into the compassion. So we start off with a kindness, but compassion, I, you know, when we talk about uh, extraordinary things, to me, a compassion is not an ordinary emotion. It's something extraordinary to really believe that that person is the same as you, to really, really believe it, not words, but really understand that no matter who they are. And I remember as a child, my mother always quoted to me there but for the grace of God go I. And I didn't really understand it, but I tried to. I tried to. Um, and what she was trying to say to me, don't judge that person there. That person is you. They're not different than you. They still have the same wants and needs, etc. And as I got further and further into yoga and understanding spiritual concepts that I felt, but I didn't understand them, it changed. Instead of there by the grace of God go I, it was there go I. There's nothing else. That's me. And if you treat that person badly, you're treating yourself badly. It's no different. So this is what we say, compassion for those that are less fortunate. It doesn't say pity. It's compassion. Compassion, beautiful word. Passion, any strong emotion. Calm means to be with that person. To just sit with them, just be with them. You can't change it. Maybe you can, but most times you can't. Just be with them and know that it's the same. You're not different. Your problems are their problems. You feel them just as deeply. You love your children just as deeply as they do. Where's the compassion? And if you can't have compassion for others, how can you have it for yourself?
Indeed. And compassion for ourselves it's one of the greatest famines in our world today, I find.
Yep.
Real famine, hunger and thirst and lack of self-compassion. And it can begin with other people. Other people, I think, can begin to be the inspiration for us to find compassion for ourselves. And we might, we can see someone in a difficult situation, they're suffering in distress. And we might not have had that experience, but we can find some reflection of what they're feeling in us from our own life experience. And that's where we make the connection and our heart opens. And as Nischala says, we can be with them. And the compassion flows through us. And later on, when we're alone with ourselves and suffering and in distress, perhaps about something we think we've done something wrong, or we made somebody hurt us in some way, we feel it was our fault. And a lot of different situations. But mostly, I think, when we ourselves feel that we were wrong about something, and we can beat ourselves up and feel guilty for the whole of our lives, and until we are able to say, oh, my friend, finding that you are your own friend, my friend in the heart here, and just pouring compassion into yourself and finding how much is needed, I think is a great beginning.
I agree 100%.
In this way. Yeah. And then I just mentioned that this is called dukkha in Sanskrit. So sukha is happiness, dukkha is unhappiness. Okay, and the key for this luck is, as Nischala said, is compassion, which is karuna in Sanskrit. So we have sukha and maitri, that's the lock and key, the first one. We have dukkha and karuna for the second one. And I think That's as far as we're going to go. We haven't time to go on to 3 and 4 today. That's clearly going to be for another time, the next one. But we can talk a little bit more or about this, or we could invite some questions. If anyone might want to type a question into the chat, or you could just say it, put your hand up, and if you have a question that you wanted to ask, that might be helpful for everybody.
You know, also, when you talk about Sukha Dukkha, as we're waiting for the questions to come in, I always call them the Sukha Dukkha twins. Because you can either, it's up to you. You can be Sukha or you can be Dukkha. It really depends. But I think the point of compassion, too, is it doesn't have to have words with it. And that's where it traverses the normal thinking and the normal feeling. Because you might want to put words to it, but you can't. Sometimes it's just that communion, that being together, that nod of understanding, that moment when two hearts become one for no particular reason other than that's how they're supposed to be. That's what.
Yeah, and they both feel that, and no words are necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I really experienced that one time when I was in a big group and I was fasting and I was silent for before a particular ceremony, and everybody knew that who was there, a couple of hundred people. And I was just wandering around and actually was at Quinta da Calma.
Oh.
And I would see someone come in across the fields making a beeline for me, knowing that I'm not speaking, and would sit down and tell me all their stuff. And I would just be with them. And then they would say, "Thank you very much," and go away.
Yep. Yep.
Don't need to do more. Yeah.
Okay, looks like we got a question.
Yeah. Complaining has become normal in some
Yep.
places, and
Yep.
sometimes it feels good. But there's no place in the sutras that suggests that complaining is useful to help with the fruities. Well, indeed, there's no place in the sutras that suggests
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for that. That's a wonderful comment or question. Thank you.
Yeah.
And why am I saying that? I think we can all identify with that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant comment there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
If
right.
we look at what the sutras do say, we're going to get a better guideline, I think, than we might do from Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah. Well, there is actually a sutra that I use all the time that talks directly to this, and that's Pratipaksha Bhavana. It says,
No,
don't
no,
complain.
that's later.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll give them a little taste.
Yeah,
Little
go on
test.
then. Go on,
Yes,
little teaser. Go on.
a teaser. Because when you feel that need to complain, you just stop. What is it going to do? It's probably not going to help you because now you've solidified it. When we talk about it, it makes it solid. It makes it real. And then if you're going to talk about it to someone that also it affects, that's two people now that it's affected. Instead, take it back in, think about it, and see if you can switch it to something else, to something positive, to something like, at this stage of my growth and development, I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm choosing not to let that affect me. And you can go on. But there's no place that says, complain all you want in the sutras. That's not what the sutras are about. Maybe I'll write one, but it's, and you're so right. People are complaining about everything. I said to someone the other day, do you realize how much you have? And you're still wanting more? look at that. What is it in you that needs that at this moment? Yeah,
I think it becomes a habit,
it
becomes a
does.
mental habit.
And also, it's a way of communicating to people too. How are you today? Oh, I'm miserable. I had a instead. What a joyous morning. What a
Yeah,
joy.
it even becomes a competition to be more miserable and have more problems, and also busyness has become a
Oh
competition.
yeah.
That I'm more busy than you, and I don't have any time for this, and like it's a badge of success. And
Yes.
are you feeling happy with that?
Yep.
Is what I would
There's, I
say.
don't know if you have this in Europe, but there's a term here people use, crazy busy. I'm crazy busy. And I think, stop, listen to what you're saying. Your busyness is making you crazy. Is that what you want?
Yeah,
So maybe people do, but we have to understand by the time they're actually gravitating to the Yoga Sutras, they probably want a little peace in their life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
bragging about being busy is not really helpful.
no, Tanmai has put in the comments, perhaps the part that needs to complain is asking for love, connection, understanding. And that's exactly the dukkha and karuna, lock and key, right?
And the Karuna.
So offering compassion, understanding, care
Oh,
to that part of
just
yourself.
wrote.
And
Yeah.
the other thing I would like to say about karuna, compassion, that it's, you touched on it, Nischala, saying it's not sympathy, it's not empathy either. It's no point just two people crying in the room. I'm feeling, and that's really, but compassion is a relationship between equals. It's very different, and it guides itself, I would say. Yeah, yeah. And I just want to share with you all this beautiful
Oh,
flower.
oh, that's beautiful. From your garden?
These are growing wild here at the moment.
Well,
There's another one here.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow,
yeah.
beautiful.
The hillsides here are covered in these, and they give a beautiful perfume. Yeah. And I just felt to bring those
Like
to
the
share.
almond blossoms.
Almond blossoms in January, but these are now, and I just feel they're so much like the open heart
Beautiful.
or the open lotus flower. Yeah, yeah.
So
So,
just before we move into music, I
yes,
think just to hear them is not enough. So I would really encourage everyone right now to make a practice of being kind when you see someone happy, just until we meet again. And then also practice having compassion. And when you're practicing it, note what's happening in your mind. Don't try to necessarily change it. Note it at first. Is there resistance to being compassionate toward this person? Is there resistance of being kind to that person? Notice. You're going to learn a lot about yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's a resistance, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Force it, push it? No, you're gonna shower it with compassion
Yeah.
and
Try it.
understanding
You might
and
like
let
it.
it soften.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a good practice to give till next time. And beautiful. And Annie is going to support us in this practice with the beautiful song, Home is Where the Heart Is.
Can you hear the guitar okay? And the voice. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. There's no place like home, like no place I've known, and I wander round my ups and downs, here and there and going everywhere. Now I'm home, where my heart is. There's no place like home, like no place I've known. Now my heart is beating it, my breath is breathing it, my life is leading it, my soul is giving into home. Where my heart is, where my heart is, and we can sing together. Home is where the heart is. 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 No place like home. No place like home. Where my heart is, where my heart is. Home is where the heart is.
Bless you, Annie. Thank you. Thank you so much. You sing the song of all our hearts. Our hearts sing with you, and your angelic voice is there. All of our hearts singing through you. Thank you. Beautiful, just beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. So we've come to our closing time again. Always flies by pretty fast. Just to mention, in case you haven't seen, Nischala and I are offering a retreat and pilgrimage in Assisi in Italy in the beginning of September this year. And the bookings are open now. There are still some places left. But the bookings opened yesterday. And yeah, so if you do feel that you would like to come, it's on the Heart of Living Yoga website. It's on Heart Space. I'm not sure, is it Vishwan, is it on Instagram yet? We're not sure. If it isn't, it will be pretty soon. And Facebook. Yeah, it's going to be very, very special. Staying at the ashram of Paramahansa Yogananda in Italy. It's called Ananda, which means bliss. They have a beautiful temple of light there. So we're going to be living there, and we're going to be traveling out to the places of pilgrimage of St. Clare and St. Francis of Assisi. Yeah, it's just, yeah, we've both done this with groups before. Some of you that I can see have been there with me before, and it's really is a magical experience to be there. So we'll be there for a week, and yeah, you can find out the price on those other places. It depends what kind of a room you want to have, how much it is. So just thought to mention that. And stay tuned for the next Heart to Heart. When seems like we're going to be talking about the other two locks and keys, which are really, yeah, we'll be going really deep with that, I think. Yeah. So thank you again, beloved Nischala. Thank you so much. You've gone mute. Yeah.
I didn't want to.
You've gone mute again. There you are.
There I am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was such a joy, as always, being with you and talking about the heart. And thank you all for coming, being with us, and for that
That's lovely.
celestial singing. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to share your radiant heart and your beautiful wisdom with us, Nischala. Yeah, and all of you. You know, it's all of your radiant hearts that actually call through our hearts what's being shared. We're just the facilitators, or the instruments. We could be clothes pegs or knives and forks or something, in my personal view. We're just, that's the use that we have to facilitate this kind of coming together and holding space. But you guys, you are the deep beauty that calls us through. Yeah, so thank you. And you probably could see my doggy standing up then. Did you see her? Yeah. If you don't know, she's had a really difficult operation and hasn't been able to stand up for a week. So you've just witnessed a miracle. And that's, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Lucy. Okay. That might be a little bit late to ask that question, Lucy, just as we're going, but do feel free to send an email or a message in somewhere.
Or watch the video.
Watch the video. Yeah, good point. So we will be sharing the video as well. will be on our YouTube channel. Yeah,
There you go.
when it goes up, we'll share a message when it's up there.
The miracle of modern technology, right? Yes.
Just amazing.
You
Yeah.
missed it? Go back. You can get it again.
So thank you all again and again and again. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.